It all began with a stone, or so the legend says.
With the 20th anniversary of Final Fantasy XI being celebrated this past May, players have rekindled a love for this decades-old MMORPG. However, one question that has been asked time and time again leading up to the event was, what about a classic server? Going unanswered throughout the celebration, we did get a statement in this GameSpot interview by Brendan Hess in June. Many players look fondly on the level 75 era of the game. Have you considered adding classic servers like other long-running MMOs like World of Warcraft? Matsui says, I'm skeptical about classic servers, especially because I don't think they're viable from a business standpoint. For example, in the case of Final Fantasy XI, the cost of setting up and running a classic server would require us to charge a much higher fee for it than the main service. Now, in the fandom of Final Fantasy XI, there are players who enjoy many different things. Crafting, fishing, playing Puppet Master. I don't get it, the darn thing never does what I want it to do. Go, Bobesh! But 20 years after release, there is one thing that players want that current Final Fantasy XI just doesn't seem to offer them. Less. Players want to go back to a simpler time when getting to level cap was a journey, where items in the auction house were valuable at all stages of character progression, where careful planning could earn you gil through crafting or farming. In the vein of WoW Classic or old school RuneScape, this is not unheard of in the larger MMORPG community. Well, in steps Horizon 11. A server looking to recreate the classic experience, but with a twist known as Era Plus. Before we get into exactly what that means, quick disclaimer. I'm personally still very invested into retail Final Fantasy XI, and support the devs through monthly subscription. In my opinion, the current delivery of new and interesting story content, combined with a revamped endgame, is very reminiscent of a new expansion. Between the Voracious Resurgence storyline and Odyssey and Sortie, I thoroughly enjoy these new and varied additions to the game alongside the friends I've made since 2017. But there is something that catches my attention about this new private server, and I'll be commenting on these things throughout this video. Now, onto Horizon. Horizon 11 has coined the term Era Plus, but what does that mean? Well, in a similar vein to WoW Classic, Horizon is a progression server, meaning expansions will be released over time in the order they originally came out. Where WoW Classic simply released those expansions in their increasing level caps, future expansions on Horizon will all be tuned to the idea that characters do not progress past level 75. How will this be accomplished? Well, the developers plan to build adjustments focused around horizontal progression and systems balancing. Much of these changes are purposely obscured in order to allow players the chance to explore, but we do have some job change teasers to take a look at. Black Mage has historically been an excellent damage dealer in endgame, sometimes overused. The plan here is to adjust that dominance, and also provide a better leveling experience. Here we see a change to Ranger's SP Eagle Eye Shot. Again, we don't know what that change is, but I will say that even in current retail, Eagle Eye Shot is useless. So here we get a little bit more of that vision of improving the underutilized portions of a job's kit. Your favorite jobs and preferred ways of playing aren't left behind. While we don't have much information about what this philosophy means in terms of gear, my assumption is that new choices will rarely be strictly better than previous best in slot, and will end up being situational or based on player preference, which is the crux of Final Fantasy XI's horizontal progression, and a large part of the game's appeal. In addition to player and mob changes, what else does Horizon bring to the table? The very first thing that impressed me during the beta was the launcher. In one of my most viewed YouTube shorts, I point out that this is easily the biggest hurdle to players trying to get into the game. Dying Breed? I don't know, because honestly, if SE put some more effort into updating the launcher and just getting the ability for people to play the game into people's hands, there's enough of a Final Fantasy fan base out there. I didn't manage to grab footage of the beta launcher, but upon clicking the EXE, I did jump right into the title screen, and then immediately into character select. Bypassing any play online shenanigans. We love you, play online, but seriously, why? Not only this, but built into the launcher is an Ashita installation with pre-approved add-ons to improve the player experience. Let's talk about those. For the uninitiated, add-ons are the bread and butter of private servers and retail players alike. In an interview with Final Fantasy XI's director Yoji Fujito, they were asked, is there one feature or mechanic that you and the team always wanted to implement in Final Fantasy XI, but couldn't because it wasn't feasible or workable? The response was, I wanted to provide a customizable UI system. This had actually progressed as far as playtesting, but at that stage we encountered a flood of concerns surrounding maintenance costs on both the development side and for the end user. Due to these fairly large increases as a whole, we ultimately decided not to pursue it any further. Square Enix scrapped this UI overhaul sometime in 2013, and with the mothership unable or unwilling to make these changes, players took it upon themselves to craft tools in order to make playing the game less cumbersome. Seriously though, have you seen this thing? I'm not even sure we would have been happy with it if we got it. Included in Horizon's base launcher are a handful of these add-ons that improve the base player experience. XI View, for example, ranges from freshening up the outdated icons to showing the players separate song colors for the different songs a bard might play. XI Pivot changes the character and texture models before they hit your screen, allowing you to replace them with higher definition fan-made variants. Here's a look at the face and hair models that will be available at launch. In addition to these, the armor and scenery, made by the prolific Ashen Bubs, has also been included. You can check out the rest of their work in the description down below. To ramble off a few more, Minimap adds a small map to your screen, and Party Buffs let you see at a glance which of your party members are appropriately buffed. All of these are mainstays of modern MMORPGs. The Horizon team agrees, so all of this will be included. The final thing that impressed me also happens to be the team itself. Now personally, I've not been in or around the private server scene previously, but to see a staffed team with multiple community managers, devs, and artists that are online and active in the Discord is very promising. Coupled with an excellent code of conduct for both its players and GMs, this project has a very professional look and polish. Some final thoughts. I'm normally rather skeptical about new projects and early adoption, but this one looks solid. There's a rather large interest from the overall community, so there's no worry about empty towns or lack of items in the auction house, at least early on. Personally, I'm most interested in things like crafting and NM hunting in the old school way. Crafting in particular is one of my favorite activities from 75 cap that just hasn't excited me in retail. If you're watching this early, here are some dates that will affect you. Name reservation will be this coming Sunday, December 11th, and launch day is next Saturday, December 17th. If any of this interests you, there's a Horizon 11 public Discord linked below, and please like this video and subscribe to the channel as I will be covering this project going forward. Take care everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.